20-7 Minnesota. 3:20 and counting to go in the third quarter. Purdy, the pass. Hit! Sacked! Blake Cashman! Eden Prairie go crazy. He's having an awesome game. And the Vikings have battered Brock 5 times. 5 sacks, just like last game against the Giants, 3rd and 15.
Only 10 Cashman friends and family members at the game today. That's a little surprising.
Yeah, just trying to keep it more small, intermediate family. I got better things to focus on than worrying about dishing out 20, 30 tickets a week.
Hey, Blake, for those who may have followed you at Eden Prairie or Minnesota, but not necessarily that closely with Houston, the drops in pass coverage, is that something that's always come natural to you, or has it improved over the years because you were lights out today?
Yeah, I think you can develop, a knack for the ball. I'm standing right here next to Ivan Pace. He has a great feel for getting to the ball. I try to, during the week when I'm watching film and understanding like what's our attack plan for our D linemen up front. Like, our whole goal is not to give a team like this with a lot of weapons time, and so I was really aggressive on cheating the zone drops depending on their formation and who they had lined up. Because there's times I see Kittle and Debo to the field, but I see Ayuk backside, and I'm thinking like Purdy. He's going to look to the field. If that read's not there, he's going to come right back to Ayuk on the backside, probably for maybe a slant or a dig. So I just try to be really aware of who their targets are, because players make plays and they pay guys a lot of money over there. They're going to get the ball in their hands.
Well, Blake, getting, rudimentary as this may sound, it's easier said than done. Getting Kyle Shanahan and their offense out of the running game and out of all the window dressing off the running game. And I know you weren't here last year, but when they beat the Niners on Monday Night Football, the Vikings forced the Niners to throw 70% of the time in the second half, and they had markedly more throws today than they had runs. How key is that?
Yeah, that's a great coach over there, a great team, a team that's been doing it at a high level for many years now. And, that was our plan, try to get them off rhythm, try to create chaos and stress for them. We know they want to get the balls in their playmakers. So, we just want to keep the ball in front of us and rely on, our relentless pursuit to get 11 helmets there. But, they gave us some good plays, some things for us to think about going forward. And, that's the beauty of this game is, you're gonna learn from your mistakes and what, these teams throw at you. But, we're very excited that we were able to execute our game plan at a high level and come out of this game with a W against a really good football team.
Couple more, my man, because I know you're busy and you want to go home and probably tired. First and foremost, it was steamy in there today, and you guys were on the field a lot. I see, Trent Williams is one of the great offensive linemen in the history of the NFL. My man was getting tired at the end of the game, having the entire offseason working on his contract, and you guys were on the field so much, conditioning really mattered today, right?
Yeah, I think it surprised everyone a little bit how humid and steamy it was in there. They had a couple players come up to me and they're like, "Cash, like, why is it so damn steamy in here?" I'm like, you see those doors right there? They got all the doors open, so all that hot, humid air is coming in, and people that aren't from this area, I think, get surprised on how hot and humid it can be. But just being at home, using our environment, our atmosphere, like, that's something we talk about every week when we have a home game, is like, that's got to be our advantage. And I think we were able to use it to an advantage this week, and we need to keep that consistent and rolling every time we do have a home game.
Lastly, my man, the Texans are here, your former team, next week. I'm sure you're not going to get peppered on that too much during the course of the week, so I'll let that happen during the course of the week. But just Brian Flores' approach to defense. All right. You guys blitzed 11 times against the Giants, which is super low compared to the percentages last year, which opens up, okay, is he going to blitz 5 or is he going to blitz 25 in a game of deception and unpredictability? Fantastic. But just overall with Flores and his approach, have you ever been involved in anything like this? And what do you like about it?
I have never been involved in anything like this. The more time I spend preparing and practicing it, like I'm really starting to hone in and understand, what he's trying to do, what our defense is doing, and how it limits an offense. Yeah. I'm sitting in practice like worried about these different route concepts against this call, and they're looking at me like, Cash, it's okay. Like he doesn't have enough time. The ball has to come out. Right. So just play visual. And so just really, trusting the coaching, learning from the guys that have been in this system. I've spent a lot of time watching the tape from last year and the calls that were made and watching how they did it. And it's been able to help me a lot. But it's a really fun defense to play in. And I think it's great to see, you love as a defensive player to see an opponent, an offense fluster because you're changing so many looks and fronts and just stressing them out because they're worried about, our pressure and our hots.
Just let me sneak this in to close. I would imagine an emotional week for you next week with Houston here, and your preparation and planning. You're a scholar of the game with the way you played, not only with the Jets but Houston, now here. We talked about the drops and everything. When do you start thinking about like how you're going to handle the week emotionally? And it's going to be a big week for you, man, simply because you used to play for the Texans.
Yeah, you can't make the moment bigger than it needs to be. The way I go about it is I approach it like it's another week, another opponent. I try not to think about all the relationships and that I got over there, and then it being my old team. Because the last thing you want to do is try to go out there on Sunday and play hero ball and do too much. So it's really important just to trust the game plan, trust the work you put in, and just play sound. Play what you've been coached in your assignment, and you'll like the results that you get at the end of the game.
Terrific play, terrific component to a defense that now has 10 sacks through 2 games. And congratulations on winning your home opener in your return to your home state. See you soon.
Thank you. Let's keep it going.
Blake Cashman, 13 tackles, and Lavelle Neal III, columnist for the Star Tribune, has arrived. He's around the corner. But first, non-Vikings covenant claps are warranted again. We gave them to Fred Warner out of respect. We got no problem with 54. He's the bomb, isn't he?
He's great.
All right, now, at the tail end of this, for like the final 30 yards.
2nd and 9 for the Vikings from their own 3. Darnold under center. Play action to Jones. Back to pass. Bosa picked up. Deep shot. Jefferson. Yes! Caught at the 50. Heads left to the 40. Cuts back to the 25. Heads to the right. He's trying to outrun the Niners. To the 5. Touchdown! A 97-yard touchdown from Sam Darnold to Justin Jefferson. And your Minnesota Vikings have a 9-0 lead.
Jalen Nailor running down the field and getting in the way of safety George Odom. I mean, I still think Justin would have scored, but great effort, tenacity, and an indefatigable nature by Jalen Nailor, no doubt about it.
We need to add a stat category because he got the assist.
Well, we need to give covenant claps to back judge Tyree Walton. I always love that one. You got to watch it. I mean, I just put it on Twitter, man. I mean, he went slide, sprint, spin. I mean, the speed and the agility of this back judge, Tyree Walton. Yeah. And then he stopped on the goal line, chilled, arms up. Tyree Walton, for your athletic ability and your agility and the fact that you didn't job the Vikings on any calls and the speed. Tyree Walton. Who knew?
Here's the snap. CJ looking. CJ firing downfield. Hits Nico. 10, 5 to the end zone. Touchdown, Houston.
And that's weight room right there, baby.
Caleb Williams gets the snap. Caleb Williams in trouble. And Danielle Hunter can't get him down. Williams escapes to the right, throws downfield, and intercepted by Lassiter. Runs upfield, 45, and he's out of bounds inside the 45-yard line. The rookie with his first INT.
Mark Vandermeer, the play-by-play voice for the Houston Texans, who undoubtedly will join 9 to noon sometime later in the week. His Texans are undefeated, and they plan to stay that way this weekend. So do the Minnesota Vikings. And joining us now to chat about all that and markedly more is Star Tribune columnist Lavelle E. Neal III. And this comes courtesy of Allery's. For those who may not have heard of or frequented or attended anything at Allery's, what is Allery's and where is it?
Allery's is located, first of all, thank you for having me here.
Sure.
Allery's is located off 7th Street between Robert and Jackson in downtown St. Paul. Long-time Bears bar / cop bar.
Big Al, God rest his soul.
Yeah, 2018 we lost a big man. But now Allery's is a Bears bar again. It went through a couple ownership phases, but now it's back under different owners who have invested into the joint. New TVs, new sound system, new bar, new floor. It's all looking pretty sweet. And they have Petey's Barbecue running the kitchen. So you can come get your rib tip on before kickoff and settle in and watch the Bears devour opponents.
The rookie Caleb Williams, his yards per attempt was 4.7. That's problematic. Will it stay that way the rest of his career? Most likely not. The swivel really wasn't in play again last night, but some things got better from
there was a swivel in play.
From what do you mean?
His hips from trying to avoid tackles.
Yes, the pass rush of those speedy Texans. Their defense is small, but it's very fast. And their offensive line is full of nothing but monstrous beef eaters. It's like when Joe Mixon's big and thick too, and so is Nico Collins. It's like when they ran out of the tunnel, and I thought I was watching a circus. It's like blah da 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 da. It's just strange looking body types all over the place, but they're good. What'd you think of the game?
I thought that Caleb's going to have a rough season unless the Bears do something about this offensive line, which has been problematic now for 2 consecutive weeks.
Your center seemed to be a problem last night.
Coleman Shelton should not be playing, first of all.
Hey.
All right. Braxton Jones was bad yesterday. Tevin Jenkins should be the right guard. Coleman Shelton should not be playing. Nate Davis, I liked him better when he was injured and not on the field. And Darnell Wright is okay. So we've got issues at 4 spots right now. I didn't think this was possible in an NFL game. Caleb Williams dropped back 37 times yesterday. He was pressured on 36 of those. I didn't even know you could have a percentage that high.
But a 4.7 yards per attempt for the favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, that's just a baby number.
Yeah, it's a baby number. It was better in the first quarter. If they came out with a good game plan, he was hitting some sort of short passes and getting some yardage going. I think because I was watching that too during the game. And I believe in the first quarter, it was up to like 8 or 9 yards per attempt. And I was like, okay, that's much better. But things just got rocky as the Texans were able to stop the Bears from running the ball. The Bears running backs are averaging 2.47 yards per carry right now through 2 games.
Wow.
Which has got to be fixed. And they started pinning their ears back. And it did not help that defensive lineman / assistant coach Daniil Hunter was on the other side because he was proud to say after the game how he passed along information to his teammates about the tendencies of the Bears offensive linemen.
Really?
So think about that as Houston prepares to play the Vikings next week.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. It's going to be an interesting game. So it's the mark of a good team is one that performs poorly and still finds a way to win. That was the narrative last week in the victory over the Titans. Your Titans are going to might lose dramatically more than they win this year. It's just they should have won that game last week. And when you lose games like that where a team's handing it to you, that's foreboding. The point I'm getting at here is like, what improvement, if any, did you notice in your beloved Bears going against one of the teams a fair amount of people think is going to win the Super Bowl?
Well, until the pressure got to him, I thought Caleb was okay in the first quarter. So I could take some value out of that. I still need to see more verticality out of how he attacks, which really wasn't existent yesterday. I think the two times he threw the ball down the field, one got picked, the other one, there was a pass interference that helped the Bears get into the red zone.
Right.
He did a better job of not running backwards despite the pressure because he did that in week 1. And running backwards in the NFL is not a good thing. So he improved on that. And hopefully the hot tub, cold tub thing will keep his body fresh, because I'm worried now about, in addition to the mental challenges, the physical issues on Monday mornings after these Sunday beatdowns are going to lead to scar tissue, and that's going to affect his development. I want to see that happen. But I saw a little bit better than Caleb, I thought. But it's hard, the way the offense played. I mean, Paul, the first quarter, I think Houston was up 10-3. It felt like it was 30-3. You know, D'Amico Ryans was cheesing on the sideline after some play in which they gassed the Bears defense.
Right.
You know, the fans were loud and going bananas. I just thought this could get out of hand. The fact that the Bears held Houston to one touchdown at home and actually had the ball midfield late in the fourth quarter, I thought was remarkable given the flow of the game.
Right, and there was a moment, now these count too, where Stroud waited, floated right, and here comes this again, this another one of these little fast guys, Tank Dell. And center of the field, he got behind the guys. And I didn't watch it back. I don't know if Stroud threw it too hard, a little too high, or if Dell just dropped it, but that could have been a long touchdown. If that happens, that thing might have gotten ugly.
Yeah, there was a couple plays like that too. Stroud is such a cool, calm, collected person in the pocket, man. He shows no emotion, no pulse, and he operates the offense, and he has respect of his teammates. I'm nervous for him because Stephon Diggs is on the roster,
right?
And if he's not getting the ball, he lets you know he's not getting the ball.
Eventually, it's the Bears coverage. I mean, Eberflus was not going to let Diggs wreck the game. It was a high-low corner and then safety cheating up. I mean, pretty much every play I watch number one.
Diggs got Tariq Stevenson a couple times, but for the most part, he was contained. Jalen Johnson spent most of his game on Nico, which, you know, I have a lot of respect for Nico Collins. I didn't know he was that physical of a guy.
I'd never watched him that closely until last night. And holy cow, what a nice receiver he is.
Yeah, he's real nice. They got 3 good receivers on that line. That Houston team's pretty good, man. So there's a lot of little bits going on. Olin Krunzak on the Bears post-game show. You remember Olin Krunz, who used to punish the Vikings for years. He was screaming about all the draft picks the Bears have wasted and should have taken offensive linemen. He wanted John Michael Schmitz from the U to be the center. He didn't think they should have drafted Velus Jones, and he was going off on that after the game yesterday. It was pretty fun. So, but all in all, the Bears won the game I thought they would win, and the Bears have lost the game I thought they would lose.
Right. Who do they have next?
Indianapolis. They're at the Colts.
Okay. This NFC South trick, I just can't get a hold of it. Like, Tennessee is winless. Indianapolis on this Texans team with all these little guys who are super fast playing defense, with then Jerry Hughes, Will Anderson, and Daniil busting off the edge. I like what they're doing, ain't no doubt about it. But they permitted Indianapolis, led by Anthony Richardson, to score 27 points. Now, from the highlights and just the brief amount of time I've put into Indianapolis and Green Bay, I mean. The Green Bay's defense is good, but that Indianapolis production yesterday with Richardson with 3 touchdowns, the same Richardson who, granted at home and on a faster surface, was getting up and down the field on the Texans. The Jaguars are enigmatic. I can't get a hold on the AFC South, and you've already seen 2 of them.
I know. How about that? And, the Colts at the Packers yesterday, your boy LaFleur, he didn't put together a game plan with any ego in it. He just said, I'm not even going to try to get cute with Malik.
Hey, threw 14 times.
Yeah.
The cutest 14 passes I've seen ever.
Exactly. He says, I'm going to get the ball rolling. I'm going to start running downhill and let Josh Jacobs eat.
Yeah.
And that shows you how savvy an offensive mastermind he is.
He's fantastic.
The Colts, through 2 games, have allowed, it's on 93 attempts, by the way. In 2 games, teams have ran for 93 times on them. 474 rushing yards. And at 5.1 a clip.
Wow.
I mean, they're just getting that. I mean, you can run for a mile on these Colts.
Well, that means next week is going to be a collision of extremes. The Bears trying to get their running game established and the Colts trying to stop from getting gashed.
Well, with the Colts having that running defense problem, it's clear perhaps they're not seeing DeForest for DeTrees.
Oh, God.
So the Twins get meatloafed by a bad team, but it ain't like we're that great right now anyway. They're 6.5 behind the Guardians. The Guardians are going to win the division. The wild card situation is, how dicey is this going to get into the final stages coming down to the wire?
It's gotten more dicier it's gotten dicier than we anticipated because I believe the Detroit Tigers are only 2.5 games behind.
Oh, geez.
In the wild card.
Oh, geez.
The Twins are in a must-win formation right now.
Yep.
So these 4 games against the Guardians this week are massive. Not just from them trying to catch Cleveland, because I don't think that's possible, but from trying to hold off A.J. Hitch's fighting Tigers. So they're throwing their best punch at him tonight.
And the Tigers, they didn't give away Flaherty, but they even peddled their best pitcher.
That's right. They sold at the deadline.
Jeez.
And they're creeping up. I've been watching a lot more Riley Green highlights, so I guess he's coming around.
Yeah.
They got I don't know if that Colt Keefe guy's playing well in his rookie year, and I don't even know if Torkelson's back up from the minors.
What about McKinstry? The days of Trammell and Ron LaFleur,
Whitaker.
And Lou Whitaker, that's what I was thinking. Mark the Bird Fidrich have been supplanted by Riley Green, Torkelson, and McKinstry.
That's right. So the Twins are throwing their best punch at him tonight. Pablo Lopez is on the mound.
Yep, he's been good.
And you got Zebby, and then to me the swing game of the series is going to be the game 3, Bailey against Beebe, Bailey Ober against Tanner Beebe. That's going to be
Tigers at Royals. Hey, oh, this is nice. Yep. Tigers are at the Royals tonight.
Yep. So the Twins have two huge series left on the schedule. One's this week against Cleveland. The other one's at the end of next week against the Orioles, who housed them the last time they played. So
yeah.
And I wrote about this for Sunday, my 3-2 pitch. I thought, considering everything that's happened to the Twins this year, being 10 games over 500 is kind of an achievement. You talk about the injuries and people aren't performing and trading for pitchers who never threw a pitch for you. It's just been a lot of disease stuff happening to the squad.
Lavelle Neal III, at Lavelle Neal via Twitter. Please follow him as 9 to Noon does. He's a columnist for the Star Tribune, and yes, he is ballyhooed. Did you attend any of the games?
Which ones?
Cincinnati.
No, I was unable to attend the Cincinnati games.
Okay, well, I was just because I've never seen him play live, and he's kind of enigmatic, but he looked, Ellie De La Cruz. It just looks like he's one of those bits when he walks out of the dugout and he's in the on-deck circle, and then he walks up, and I don't know what his walk-up song is. He just has an aura to him, like he's sitting on superstardom.
He's about 6'4", 6'5", maybe. He's tall for a shortstop. Massive amounts of skill. Came into the league, huge impact. Nordal, I don't have access to numbers, but I think he's got like 50 stolen bases or something this year.
Who, Ellie De La Cruz?
To go along with some power.
I have access to numbers.
So I was at the local watering hole Friday, and he was when Rocco decided to pull over and bring in Akala with the bases loaded. And
64 stolen bases.
64.
De La Cruz does.
Yeah. I have access to numbers, and Nordo found it more quickly than me.
So that's what Nordo's job is.
Correct.
But I'm at the watering hole telling my friends,
64.
This Ellie De La Cruz kid is loaded with skill. He's 22 years old. He does not know what he's doing yet.
Wow.
But I said he could run into one here.
Wow.
And my statement finished when the ball was halfway to the plate. So there was a collective groan as soon as the contact was made.
Can you guys help me with this, please? Did either of you happen to watch any of Green Bay, Indianapolis?
No, I was at a charity golf tournament yesterday.
I just saw highlights. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, I got Super Special Cindy coming up here in an hour and change, and I'm playing highlight and box score catch-up here, but it's like following the score during the course of the game. It was like this to 3, like for the longest time. And I know somebody who went to the game, and she said, well, it got kind of dicey late. Like Indy was making it interesting, and when your quarterback throws 3 interceptions against 0 touchdowns, that's generally, there's nothing interesting about that. I just wonder, that is a big win for the Green Bay Packers. That is an important win for the Green Bay Packers with Malik Willis at quarterback against a team that with Jonathan Taylor and Pittman and this Alec Pierce is going off week after week. DeForest Buckner on defense. This is a team that can cause problems, and it felt like viewing it from afar, just box score wise, while calling the Vikings game, that Green Bay was handling them every step of the way.
Well, their final 4 possessions so this is less than, let me see here. Beginning of the 4th, they miss a field goal. and then Green Bay goes up 16-3. Then they throw the first of 2 interceptions in Green Bay territory. Then Green Bay misses a field goal, so they're keeping it. They get the touchdown with 2 minutes left in the game, so now it's 16-10, and then they forced the 3 and out, and then they were driving to take the lead, and they threw another pick.
Oh, geez.
So it was
to
dicey.
take the lead and win the game.
Yeah, they were driving to win the game.
Oh, wow.
Jonathan Taylor averaged 8.6 yards a carry.
Well, that's dicey.
Well, how did he? Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Makes
8,
you
9,
feel
10.
better about your loss, doesn't
He
it?
completed passes that did 10 different receivers.
Who did?
Anthony Richardson.
Wow. Game changer. Well, no. He completed passes to 13 different receivers, including 3 Packers. I always love that one. My man's throwing 3 picks, and you're telling me they're trying to drive to win?
Yeah.
Okay. Super special Cinny in an hour and 10 minutes, and we'll see what he says. Now, in closing, your column work this week or your writing work this week. The Hawkeyes are in town for an evening game on KFAN Saturday, Huntington Bank Stadium against Guardsy's Gophers. Are you putting any of a focus on that? And secondly, with this is the final week for the Minnesota Lynx, and I'm looking at the ESPN WNBA power rankings, and they have the Lynx ranked first in the power rankings. That's not a big surprise.
Well, this is a big week, though, because I believe they're at the New York Liberty, which is...
Well, they're at Connecticut tomorrow.
Connecticut. Have you played New York yet?
Yep. They might have played New York yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
Yeah, it might have been. But big week, and they're going to go into the playoffs. They might get Phoenix in the first round, Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi and stuff like that. They'll beat them 2 out of 3. They'll get 2 there. But this is a fun team to watch. I've watched more WNBA and more Lynx games this year due to Caitlin Clark, me getting bit by Caitlin Clark in the NCAA tournament. And people don't like when I or others say that, but it's fact, and I ain't going to lie. I got pulled in because of what I saw with her and Angel Reese, and I never left.
She dropped 35 yesterday.
I understand, and I missed the game, and I was crestfallen. I missed the game. I've watched almost all of her games this year. She had 35, though.
Here's the thing. Here's a bit about the Lynx. They beat the Liberty yesterday.
Oh, and Asia Wilson, by the way, is the absolute bomb. I'd never watched her this closely until this year.
First to score 1,000 points in the season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The Lynx beat the Liberty 88-79 at New York. This is the second time they've gone to New York and beaten the Liberty at their crib.
Bro, that's a statement game.
It is a statement game.
Yeah, it was the end of like that in-season tournament thing. They beat them earlier this year.
Yep. And that's what I said, because
Cheryl... they had to play that game at Belmont Park because like the arena was taken by ice capades or something.
I remember after that game, Cheryl Reeve came out and said, someone's going to start talking about us, about being one of the best teams in the league. We just came in and beat the best.
Yeah.
Now they've done it twice.
Yeah. Cheryl gets a little wound up with that.
That's good, though. It's good for good copy.
I joke with her about that, and she'll join the show this week. It is good copy, but Cheryl has an opinion, and Cheryl will voice the opinion. Cheryl is also she's such a super accomplished coach and incredibly good at what she does. But she does get a little. What do you think of us now? Nobody can't even get a blurb in the New York Post. Roll in here and beat the Liberty, and now the New York Times are lined up to talk to us.
In the game after that too, didn't they go down to Dallas and take an L right after?
I think they might have.
They might have gotten blown
I think
out
you're right
too.
about that.
Actually, that's the only team they've lost to since the Olympic break. They come back from the Olympic break. Dallas, one of the worst teams in the WNBA. That seems like the only team that the Lynx have problems with.
Yeah.
They've been fantastic.
Cheryl has so little interest in discussing Caitlin Clark. And I've learned that by chatting on the microphone with Cheryl and also off the microphone with Cheryl. I'd pay $1,000 for it to be Lynx Fever in the WNBA finals. I give $1,000 right now, just cash, just whatever ministry, charity, whatever. Just if that's going to happen, if God can craft that, well, you get $1,000 donation right now, because then she'd have to talk about her. And you talk about good copy. This would be the job she and her staff did on the Fever and Caitlin at Indiana a couple of weeks ago. Now your Fever, it's a 2-player squad. And I can't remember the center's name. Something Boston maybe or whatever.
Alina Boston.
Thank you.
Aaliyah Boston.
Thank you. It's a 2-player team for the most part. I mean, she made it a 1.5-player team, and she was in the lab a long time to make sure that girl from Iowa ain't wrecking this game. And she did wonderful work. Well, that'd be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this.
It would be great if they played the Fever with something on the line. I will say this. I don't have the updated WNBA playoff bracket in front of me, but the last time I checked, since the Lynx were the number 2 seed, they could have run into the Fever
Phoenix
in the first round, I think.
Yeah.
But now I think they're number 1. Yeah. I think they're number 1 seed in the league.
No, we're 2 back.
Not yet? Still 2 back?
2 back behind the Liberty. So right now it goes Liberty, Mystics. Chicago is tied with Washington, but they lost Angel Reese for the year. Atlanta just got some players back, and 2 of them are good, even though I'm not real familiar with them. Tina Charles Vertical may be 6 inches these days, but she's basketball immortality. Love how she plays. So we get Phoenix, yes, please, all day in America. Connecticut gets Indiana, and then Las Vegas gets Seattle. And then after that, you know what we do? We throw caution to the wind. Good to see you today. Thank you, Alleries. And where can people find your Twins-related book if anybody's interested?
The franchise, The History of the Minnesota Twins, is available at all Barnes & Nobles in the area, at Amazon.com. Local bookstores also have it in stock. And if you stop in on the street, I probably have one in the back of my car I can sell you.
A column just walked into the 651 Carpets Plus studios.
Hey,
Parker Fox. A game changer for the Golden Gophers basketball team.
325 off the tee.
This
guy here.
Yeah, but you know what? 325. He was lit on some tee yesterday because he was at the Vikings game and his favorite team won, and he and Dawson Knox had about the best time you could possibly have. There's a column to your left if you're interested. I'll see you soon, okay?
All right.
PJ Fleck joins 9 to noon next.
Here he is, Taylor, stepping out of 1, stepping out of 2. He is off to the races. Midfield, far sideline 40. A man to beat, waits for the block, crossing the field to the 10. Lowering his shoulder and leading in 81 yards. No flag, touchdown.
And that was offensively speaking, but for the first time in like nearly a half century, the Golden Gophers football team shut out opponents in back-to-back fashion. And off those shutouts, Golden Gophers football coach PJ Fleck joins 9 to noon now into the Iowa game to start Big Ten play. PJ, it's Paul Allen. Good morning. How are things?
Good morning, PA. It's so good to hear your voice. What a great win for the Vikings yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when you outthink the thinkers, the Shanahan staff, that you know how it works, man. I mean, it was one of those rare games where I never felt they were going to lose, despite playing a good team, and that was the same situation with you guys. You know, even you get a field goal. And then you get like one of my favorite plays that I saw a week in that screen, and I'm going to get into it momentarily, but then you got shut down. Nevada gets to play good defense too. Maybe there were missed assignments, but Nevada gets to play good defense too, and you settle for a second field goal. But I just never felt you were going to lose the game. And I think, you know, from my standpoint, your defensive coordinator, Heatherman, and staff seems super dialed in on the tricks and twists of the wishbone. It seemed like he called a big-time game, and the players were dialed in on the do-your-job part. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's fair. It definitely is. I think, you know, anytime you're playing a team that has option inside their game, and not only just option, they have the wishbone, they have the triple option, they've got the speed option, they've got zone option, they've got all types of option in there, and let alone have a normal offense. It's very, very difficult for a defense to zone in and be really disciplined. And I thought our guys did a great job all week preparing, had a great game plan. I thought our D-line did a great job getting to the quarterback when they did throw it. And when they did, you know, he was throwing off his back foot. We were able to get 3 picks, which helped us, you know, because it was going to be a short game. I mean, you look at the time of possession, I think at the end of the third quarter, and we were behind in that. I mean, they had the ball a lot, especially with that many times as they were running the football. So they went fast. They were milking the clock all the way down to 1 second every time they had a football. And it was going to be important that we scored on the possessions that we had. And it was also going to be important that we took the ball away.
Ja Joyner was wrecking the game at the line. And I don't have the box score in front of me, so if he had a sack, I apologize. But it proves when those say stats don't matter as much as some people think, that Ja Joyner was that example this weekend because he hit the quarterback at least once, or he hit him at least twice that I saw, maybe 3 times in the game. And it led to one of them led to an interception. His rush is what you're looking for, right?
Yeah, he's so long, he's big, he's twitchy, and we've got a whole D line that it's really hard to single block any one of them. And, people are going to really highlight and focus on him and try to chip him, but he's slippery. As how big he is, he's still really slippery. And he was able to get a lot of shots on the quarterback, get a lot of quarterback hurries. I think that's the key to the game right there. We were disruptive in the backfield to a lot of TFLs and, putting them in a position where at times, the only thing they could do was hold him. And, they had multiple holding calls when he was against that defender. And that's a credit to how hard he plays.
It doesn't or shouldn't matter to coaches or staff and really players, the public opinion overall, like the overriding public opinion. For instance, like you just mentioned the Vikings to start things. All right, well, they look really good and blew out the Giants, but it was the Giants. But it was Daniel Jones. Just heard a lot of that last week. Well, into this Iowa game, whether you hear it or not, or it's fact or not, people can be like, yeah, two consecutive shutouts, but it was Nevada. They never throw and they can't throw, but it was Rhode Island. And now you get into the Iowa game. Is that any kind of a selling point to the players if people have lack of faith in the team because of who you've been beating?
Now, we can't control what people say and what they think and how they think. And, that's just part of it. We take one game at a time, and we look to be 1-0, and we look to play the best game we possibly can play. And I know that the first three opponents, and besides the first quarter of North Carolina, I thought our team has played outstanding. Didn't matter who we played.
Right.
And, those teams, the last team we just beat, could have been 3-0 leading up to that football game, and it's one of the more improved group of 5 teams. And then one of them is a team that could possibly make the playoffs in the FCS. And again, we don't get to control that, but we get to control how we play.
Right.
And there's a lot of teams that go through letdowns and they're not prepared and they weren't ready. And our guys did what they had to do. And that's a sign of a really good football team. When you're playing a team that you're supposed to beat, can you take care of business? And our guys took care of business and didn't get caught up in all the other hype. They just took each game as its own single entity, went to go play our best football game. And we'll look at the Iowa Hawkeyes the same way, to go play our best football game we've ever played and do it at a really high level.
Amen. PJ Fleck, coach of the Golden Gophers, Mondays 9 to noon. Squad has shut out teams back-to-back. Gets Iowa for a night contest on KFAN this Saturday at Huntington Bank Stadium. Darius Taylor did not get tired on that 80-yard run, did he? Great agility, but great stamina on that long run.
Yeah, he's got everything. He's got balance. He's got strength. He's got power. He's got speed. He's got great vision. He's a great football player. He was a former high school wideout, turned running back towards the end of his high school career. And I think he's gotten better and better by the year, by the week, by the day. The more he plays, the better he gets. And I think that was a great example of that.
Yeah, Darius finished 11 and 124 for a couple of rushing touchdowns, career high 5 receptions for 37, and the first receiving touchdown of his career. Super sweet. Lastly on that game, then a few on Iowa. I mentioned it earlier. Didn't you just love the screen before the second field goal? And what I loved about it, I got out of my seat on this thing, man. Your center, Greg Johnson, and guard Quinn Carroll, way down there blocking after the tight end, Jamison Gear, set it all up. I don't know if it was a 5 of 5 on the grading scale, but so many things happened on that play that had to happen by those big guys. I just know players and coaches love stuff like that, especially the beef eaters down the field paving the way.
Well, absolutely. You love when you can throw the ball 9 yards and end up getting close to 50. Those are the best ones, because you're just throwing the ball sideways. The ball travels 9 yards. It actually goes minus 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage because it's a screen. And then Daniel Jackson, runs 40-some yards down the field, and he's got a whole convoy in front of him. And if he trusts the convoy in front of him, he might score, but he kind of outran the convoy. But he's a very talented player, and we're going to have to be able to do more things like that because of the way people are pressuring us and loading the box and doing everything to kind of stop the run. And I think Max has done a good job of softening people up with that, with the completions in the pass game. But the screen game is going to have to continue to improve as well.
Does Iowa have a typically big, beef-eating offensive line? And how do the Hawks want to play offense?
Well, they want to run at will. I think, Cade McNamara is a really good quarterback, but it's still a Kirk Ferentz-led football team, and they hang their hat on their O-line and their D-line and in the trenches. They're a veteran offensive line, probably one of the best, most athletic O-lines they've had since we've been here. that I've seen. They're big, they're strong, yes, but they're incredibly athletic. They gel really well together. They play as one. The way they pass certain runs off, you can tell these guys have played a long time together. A lot of cohesiveness going on. You can see it by the way they play. And, Caleb Johnson seems like he's been there forever. I mean, he's at his third straight 100-yard game. He's so talented. And, yeah, you think you have him bottled up, and he stopped him 3 straight times, and then bang, here comes an 80-yard run. That's what they do. And they have a lot of good passes off of it that Tim Lester's been able to bring to the offense. And they're a really good, dangerous football team. It's one of the best rivalries in all college football, in my opinion, especially the Big Ten. And it's going to be a heck of an environment on Saturday night.
Now, looky here. One of Ben Johnson's players, Parker Fox, rolled into the studio again for his 11 o'clock segment. And here's PJ, and he loves PJ and the football team. Parker, say hello to the coach.
Hey, Coach. I'm always curious when it comes to, Hawkeyes, Gophers. There's always added drama. You add in the added drama last year, obviously, with social media and about the now Philadelphia Eagle Cooper DeJean and that last year's win in Iowa. Does that kind of drama, that extra stuff, play any factor into the way you guys approach this week, especially for the guys and the coaches that were, in Iowa City for that win last year?
No, Parker, I appreciate your question, man. No, it really doesn't. No, I mean, I think people made, the officials came out after that and said it's a correct call, period. So, it is what it is. I think the timing of that call and what happened after they didn't make the call originally, I think that added to what everything, turned out to be. But, there's both teams had 60 minutes to win that football game. And we had opportunities even after to lose that game or win that game. And Justin Wally picks it off and ends the game. And, but again, I don't think it adds anything on our side because it's its own individual entity. It's its own individual game. And once you kick off, it has nothing to do with last year. I think last year has everything to do with if the fans can talk about it and it can create hype leading up to the game. But within these walls, we're just looking to be the best team we can be, Parker, and find a way to be better than we were last week. And we know it's a huge game for us. They all are. And there's a lot of things this team's got to keep working on. So that'll be our focus on doing everything we can to be 1-0.
Hey, my man, thanks for the chat. Tear it up and get the pig, and we'll chat next week, all right?
Appreciate it. Really, both guys might go for Skull Vikes.
Yes, sir. PJ Fleck. Darn it. His right-hand man. That's all right. I'm flaky right now. Parker Fox with the Golden Gophers basketball team as a weekly component, 9 to noon. He was at the Palatial Purple Paradise yesterday with Dawson Knox, one of his teammates, and his girlfriend, Taylor Heisey, who brought a championship trophy with her, which was really, really sweet. And on that and much more, Mr. Parker Fox joins 9 to noon around the corner. It's 11 o'clock, and you're listening to KFAN.